To the people shouting him down like, your movies suck. That's not true.
No, his movies are very good.
Suck. He's one of the greatest actors. I mean, he's the heir apparent to Brando, blah, blah, blah. But he's a loon.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to just say what he is. He's, he has, basically, I describe this to people. You know what's happening now? Because people are aware about concussions and the problems with CTE. When you get hit and you get a dinger in football, they put you in the blue tent, and the sideline.
Yeah.
That's what needs to happen to Democrats. They need to go in the blue tent for a little bit, kind of, get your eyes checked, and then come out and be rational.
Robert De Niro just faced a roasting so epic it might have reveled his own cinematic dramas. In a surprising twist, Megyn Kelly and Schneider joined forces to deliver a comedic takedown that turned into the talk of the internet. From his storied career on the silver screen to his fiery public outbursts, De Niro's tough guy image finally met its match. What cutting remark from Rob sent shockwaves? Why is Megyn grinning like she's claimed the ultimate victory? Grab your popcorn. This showdown is pure entertainment gold.
The garbage outside today. Robert De Niro, officially sent by the Biden campaign, makes himself look like an idiot and reminds us why Trump is so popular.
It's so stupid. It was colossally stupid. If you're going to send somebody to go speak outside of the Trump trial, make it someone who's universally beloved, like a Michelle Obama. She's not universally loved. She's not loved on the right. But I'm saying, at least within the left and the center left, and maybe even some center righties.
Robert De Niro, the legendary Hollywood actor and two-time Oscar winner, now seems more like a cantankerous relative with a megaphone. Once lauded for his nuanced and deeply layered performances, he's morphed into a caricature, slinging rhetorical bombs at anyone who disagrees with him politically. His evolution from a respected star to a cliched angry old man is as perplexing as it is regrettable. These days, De Niro's public persona is less about artistry and more about an endless series of tirades, leaving fans questioning the legacy of their former favorite.
The 50th anniversary of Saturday Night Live a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if you know this, but they're kind of liberal over there. And Robert De Niro was there. And I know that he hates Trump, and I've been very pro-Trump. At the end of the show, we walk up and I'm behind him, and all of a sudden people push me a little bit, So I'm directly behind De Niro, and he turns around. Why? Trump is a schmuck. He makes you a schmuck. Schneider, I don't know why you could. It's just, I don't get it.
But De Niro's fervent outbursts didn't go unanswered. Enter Megyn Kelly and Schneider, armed with verbal precision to deconstruct his rants. De Niro's recent political eruptions, already bordering on parody, provided the ideal material for this duo. Kelly, the polished media veteran, and Schneider, the comedic voice behind the unforgettable line, "You can do it," combined forces to deliver a critique worthy of a viral highlight reel.
Winner number 2, Robert De Niro. Congratulations, sir. Another Oscar for the iconic actor who, now 80, appeared on Bill Maher over the weekend and had some choice words about Donald Trump.
The guy is a total monster. And anybody, I don't understand it. I guess they get behind that kind of logic. They want to fuck with people, screw them, because they're unhappy about something. I never play him as an actor because I can't see any good in him. Nothing.
And they pulled no punches, leaving De Niro metaphorically stranded in the aftermath of an ill-fated school talent show performance. This wasn't a spirited debate or an exchange of ideas. It was an unvarnished, unapologetic public critique. De Niro's habit of making loud, sweeping political declarations suddenly felt less like passion and more like an exercise in theatrical overkill.
You see, Robert De Niro, he's not a Trump supporter. He not like Trump, and I love Trump. And I said, well, I'm not going to have to deal with him. Now, at the end of the show, they do this wonderful thing, lovely thing, Warren Michaels does, where he invites everybody on stage. If you've ever been a cast member, if you've ever hosted, he invites us all on stage. And everybody in the audience has been on for 50 years, so everybody there has been either on the show or hosted the show or been a cast member. So we're all walking, and all of a sudden, I see De Niro like 2 rows in front of me, and all of a sudden people start pushing again. The next thing I'm right behind De Niro, and I go, please don't push, he doesn't like Trump. And I bump into him, he turns around, I swear to God, he goes, Schneider, I don't understand. He's a schmuck. Why can you support that? I don't understand how you could support that. He's turning a whole country to schmucks.
His recent speeches blur the line between emotional diatribes and political manifestos, resembling a one-man rally more than thoughtful discourse. It's as if he's traded the art of storytelling for relentless finger-wagging, leaving audiences more fatigued than inspired. How did this cinematic icon pivot so drastically from beloved actor to polarizing activist? Watching De Niro's tirades feels like seeing a once masterful classic film poorly remade. Enter Megyn Kelly with her composed yet incisive critique. She dismantled the illusion that volume equals virtue, pointing instead to the chasm between De Niro's privileged lifestyle and his impassioned moralizing. It was a performance as sharp as it was unrelenting, underscoring the growing gap between his rhetoric and reality.
For an actor to play such a hateful man, someone like, I don't know, like Bernie Madoff, say, a guy who stole $65 billion from nuns and Holocaust survivors like Elie Wiesel and was sentenced to 150.
Kelly saw through De Niro's bravado, exposing him not as a fearless commentator, but as an aging star relying on bluster to maintain relevance. Her critique struck a nerve, peeling back the layers of celebrity posturing. As she observed, Hollywood personalities often alienate entire demographics while advocating unity, a contradiction Kelly highlighted with cutting clarity. She also underscored the stark contrast between De Niro's celebrated on-screen roles and his current image as a voice of outrage rather than artistry.
Robert De Niro, who's got a severe case of the TDS, is in France right now, as all the muckety-mucks are, and he's very unhappy about what Trump is doing to try to keep filmmaking, American filmmaking, in America by slapping tariffs on foreign-made films so that he can basically try to force people to make them domestically again for the American audience that they're meant to serve. And here's what De Niro said on Tuesday.
America's Philistine president has had himself appointed head of
Philistine.
one of our premier cultural institutions.
Enter Rob Schneider, wielding humor as his weapon of choice. Renowned for his comedic style, Schneider took an absurdist approach to roasting De Niro's political fervor, likening it to an ill-conceived comedy sketch. His sharp jabs at De Niro's transformation into a figure of bitterness were impeccably timed, turning a potentially dry critique into a laugh-out-loud performance. Schneider's wit reminded everyone that sometimes humor is the best response to anger.
But can we just talk a little bit about what happened today outside the courthouse in New York, where Robert De Niro, of all people, shows up? And we know he's a Trump hater. We got that. But some of the things
Yeah, I wasn't 100% sure how he felt about Trump, Eric. I thought he was kind of on the fence, but frothingly angry. Well, I would say anytime that people use fear-mongering or think like, they always say every 4 years, this is the most important election. This may be the last election, but for him to say today that he's never going to leave, he left once. So the evidence is he did leave.
This debate isn't merely about De Niro's impassioned rants. It reflects a broader cultural shift. Celebrity activism, once admired for its boldness, now often feels disconnected from everyday reality. De Niro has become emblematic of this disillusionment, a cautionary tale of fame colliding with unchecked rage. Kelly's incisive analysis and Schneider's biting humor tapped into a growing frustration with Hollywood elites, lecturing the public from their lofty perches.
Well, it's a global problem because it's the greediness of these studios and some of these actors that, make a lot more money overseas than they would here. But I look at the film industry in the United States, and my father worked in the film industry in Boston. He was a transportation coordinator for the Teamsters Union. So I know a little bit about it. I look at the film industry as we have some of the most creative people in the world in the United States.
Once a symbol of grit and authenticity, De Niro has become a punchline. Who would have thought Schneider, famed for his slapstick antics, would emerge as a voice of reason? This saga underscores the irony of modern celebrity culture, a realm where stars preach to the masses while undermining their own credibility. In this clash of perspectives, Kelly's logic and Schneider's humor made it evident that De Niro's political theatrics have morphed into spectacle rather than substance.
It's great to see Oprah and Bruce Springsteen and De Niro losing their mind. Didn't make any difference because even the Amish people, they never vote. They're like, no, this time we're voting. Let's get the horse. Let's go. Come on, we're going there. Hey, Oprah, you. We're going. You vote for the first time ever. That's it.
Are growing tired of celebrity moralizing, particularly when it's drenched in privilege. Even those who might align with De Niro's politics find his tirades more exhausting than enlightening. His attempts to dominate the discourse feel increasingly outdated, a relic of an era when stars could speak unchallenged. Kelly and Schneider represent a new wave of critique, where even the most iconic figures are held accountable to reason and humor alike.
Hypocrisy is alive and well amongst these sanctimonious leftists. From Kimmel to De Niro to Stephanopoulos, they want you to believe they're better than you, more virtuous, more decent. But we all know the truth. They lie. They sin. They do the very things they accuse you of and the things they say they would never do. Evil things, like try to destroy people based on feigned outrage from which they spare their own.
Together, Megyn Kelly and Rod Schneider have spotlighted the widening chasm between Hollywood's elite and the everyday people who once idolized them. In an era of growing skepticism towards celebrity commentary, De Niro's fiery outbursts have inspired mockery rather than support. Memes, satire, and viral critiques have taken center stage, with Kelly and Schneider emerging as sharp, unexpected voices of reason. Their blend of wit and incisive analysis has cut through the noise. This cultural shift reveals the public's waning tolerance for tone-deaf sermons from the privileged. De Niro's evolution from cinematic icon to internet punchline underscores a harsh truth. Anger and volume don't equate to heroism or change. They merely amplify a flawed message. His pivot from revered actor to a cautionary tale of misplaced passion is a stark reminder that true influence stems from humility and understanding, not forceful rhetoric. For Kelly and Schneider, this takedown transcends De Niro's outbursts. It's a broader critique of Hollywood's inflated self-importance. Their ability to articulate this disconnect with humor and hard-hitting insights resonates with an audience weary of being lectured by those detached from their realities. Ultimately, this clash signals a cultural reckoning, one where celebrity activism is no longer lauded uncritically, but is instead dissected and, when necessary, dismantled with precision and laughter.